Hi, my name's Michaela Love. I'm a 3-star Pirelli professional, and today we're going to talk about pre-flight checks. These are something we want to look into and check off before we start riding our horse. They're called pre-flight checks because it's just what a flight or a pilot would do before they take off on a flight. They want to make sure that the plane has gas and brakes and the steering works properly. We're all thankful that they do that before they take off with us, and it's the same thing with our horses. So we're going to go over the pre-flight checks that I do with every horse, whether it's a young horse that I'm starting or a dressage horse that I have and I'm developing for competition. So the first thing is, can your horse stand still while you mount? If your horse walks off when you go to get on, this is a big red flag, and I often say it's the equivalent of running down the dock and jumping on a ship that's pulling out of the port without you, right? Don't jump on a sinking ship. Second thing is going to be lateral flexion. This is seeing if our horse can bend their neck both directions and show that they're flexible in their body and also yielding to the rein. That's our steering. Third is going to be a hindquarter yield. Do we control our horse's hindquarters, which is not only valuable for movements like haunches in, but it's also necessary for the horse to let us own that zone because that's their engine. That's what they use as a flight animal to run away. So in the very beginning, I want my horse to also be submissive and let me control their hindquarters. And then last but not least is going to be the forequarters, and this is steering the horse's shoulders, which is super important for things like shoulders in, but also for your steering, that you can not just have them bend their nose and neck through the turn, but they're standing up in the turn and bringing their nose, neck, and shoulders. All right, here we go. So the first thing I want to do is see if my horse is going to act like a partner and help me get on and maintain the halt as I put my feet in either stirrup. Now, for good measure, I'm going to grab rein and mane because I don't want to set it up for failure. I want to trust that she's going to be responsible, but be ready to correct if I need to. So I have rein and mane in my left hand here, and now I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. This is my checkpoint to make sure she's committed to halting while I throw my other leg over. All right, so we can check that one off. Feet to stay planted as she flexes her neck laterally to either side. This tests not only her flexibility, her yielding to the bit, but it also tests her connection to my seat. When I do this, my energy is going to be really neutral, inactive, so that means her feet should be inactive. A lot of times our horses make assumptions that the moment we pick up our reins, they need to be going and doing something. So I'm testing also her connection to me and my energy. So the first thing I'm going to do is lift up, slide my hand down, and then close one finger at a time and bring my hand to my knee or my thigh. And I'm going to hold until she's soft and put slack in the rein again. I want to test that on both sides. Lift, slide down, close one finger at a time, bring it to my thigh. Good. You could see there she thought about moving her feet for a moment, and then she made a good decision to maintain the hold. All right, so the next thing I'm going to check in with is her hindquarter yield. Will she not only be submissive and allow me to control her hind feet, but also be listening to my seat energy and yielding that without walking forward. So the way I'm going to set this up is actually through my lateral flexion, and that's why we did it first. So I'm going to lift up, slide down, close one finger at a time, and bring my right hand to my thigh. Once she's given me her nose and neck, now I'm going to bring my right leg back and turn my pinky up towards my belly button. Super. And what I want to feel is that she plants her inside front foot. So I'm going to do it once on the left, and I want you guys to see that I time my release when this left front foot sticks into the ground. So I'll set it up with neutral lateral flexion, lift, slide down, close one finger at a time, left leg back and my left pinky towards my belly button. Super. So you can see her left front foot never left the ground. The next one I want to check in with is we call it a direct rein, or can I direct her front feet where I want them to go? So I'm going to set this up by putting some contact in my reins. I'm going to lift and slide down till I have a soft feel on the reins. And now I'm just going to look where I want to go and put my left leg on at the girth. So it's as if I'm opening the door with my body here and then pushing her through it with my left leg. Okay? So I'm going to open the right side, direct with my right rein, and now push with my left leg until the left front comes over and across. And you can see the moment she gives me a good step, what do? I release and tell her she's a good girl. Pressure motivates and release teaches. So make sure as you're practicing this, you give your horse little rewards along the way. Do that once more to the left. So I'm going to get some contact here or a soft feel. Now I'm going to direct her to the left with a directing rein and open that side of my body as I push with my right leg at the girth. Right front crosses over, there, I'll release. All right, so now we're going to go over those 3 pre-flight checks: lateral flexion, hindquarter yield, and forequarter yield. But now see how you could advance it. How could you either refine it or take it to a deeper understanding for your horse? So for a neutral lateral flexion, that's a great exercise to know, not only for the purpose you saw me show before, but also because it becomes your one rein stop. So if your horse were ever to take off with you or go faster than you wanted them to go, this is a great way to bend your horse to a stop. It's really hard for a horse to keep power in their hindquarters, stay engaged and running off with you if they're bending, okay? So I'm going to ask Wynn to walk off and then see if I could use the same technique to bend her down until she comes all the way to a halt. So as she's walking, I'll lift up, slide my hand down, close one finger at a time, and notice how my left hand now is on the pommel of the saddle, or this could be my horn, and it's pushing me into this powerful position until she comes to a halt. Do that once more. We'll just pretend like she's running away from me. Lift up, slide down, bring my hand to my thigh and push into the pommel with my opposite hand. And hold until she finds neutral feet. Okay? So that's something I encourage you guys to practice every day. Practice it from the walk, trot, and canter, because you never know at what gait your horse is going to spook or run away with you, right? So you need to have the muscle memory to be able to get them bent around really quick and stopped at any gait at any moment. All right, the next way I could test that hindquarter yield is again from forward motion. Could I ask my horse to walk off and see if they could disengage their hindquarters or yield their hip around until they stopped without me using the reins? So I'm waiting for that moment where she committed to planting the inside front leg. All right, walk on. Bring my left leg back. Bring my energy down and see if she could plant and pivot on the left front until she stops all forward motion. Okay, my reins are there if I need them, but I'm truly treating them as a safety net. Now we're in the refining stage and I want her to be doing all of those yields off of my energy and my riding aids. Okay, what about the forequarters? How could we up the ante on that and make that more refined? So most horses really struggle with the forequarter yield for good reason. They were designed to be grazers, and so they have this neck and head that makes the front of their body heavier. Okay, so I'm going to help set her up for success with a backup. It's like a forequarter yield sandwich. I'm going to go backwards first, then forequarter yield, then backwards at the end. So on the front and back end of the yield, I'm reminding her to keep her weight on her hindquarters and allow her front end to be light. And this is a principle you hear in all kinds of equestrian sports, so why not do it in our pre-flight checks? All right, so I'm gonna see if she could go backwards off my body. I can use my reins if I need to. And then when I feel her committed to backing, I'm gonna add one of my directing aids and see if she could cross over. You can see there she got stuck. So I can use my safety nets, meaning my reins, or if I had a spur on, or my stick to support. That was perfect. I'm glad she didn't do it correctly, because you got to see how the process looks. So back up off my seat, reins to support, add a leg, good, and then back up at the end. Try the other side. Back up off my body, direct rein, there, and back up again. Super. And if you really want to put it to the test, see if you could combine some of these. And this is what my warm-up looks like now. I see if I could combine all sorts of yields. Could I go hindquarter to back up to forequarter yield, to back up to other forequarter yield. Oh, she got stuck. And I just play until I find this sticky spot and then work on that specific zone and that specific yield until it's squeaky clean. All right, I hope that gives you a couple ideas of how to improve your warm-up, how to test your horse, and make sure that they're ready for the ride.